That no that you really hated so badly, I want you to know that that is a means for God to rather use to protect you. Although when you get a no as an answer, at that point, it does not look in any way as protection for you because you are in pain, because you are not happy. But I want you to know that that is not the end of your life, but rather that rejection is the beginning of God's redirection in your life. When you talk about rejection, you cannot talk about it without the pain, because rejection in our lives comes with pain. Because when you are being rejected, there's this unhappiness feeling that you must have. So let's talk about it. When you are being rejected in any form, whether it is from a friend, whether it's from a relationship, whether you get it from a job, I want you to know that it is very painful and you are not to be judged or blamed because you are human. It hurts. But I want you to know that when you are being rejected, this does not mean that you do not have any value anymore. Rejection is not a measure for your value, but rather rejection is all about direction. When you get a rejection, meaning where you are is not the right place for you, and so you need to be redirected. Rejection has to do with redirection, not that you don't have value anymore. And I want you to know that God really closes some doors in your life. Why is He doing that? He's doing that because Him being God, He has seen what is behind those doors. And that is why He has shut those doors for you, protecting you so that you will not be harmed. But as a human, you cannot see what He's seeing. So all you see is a door has been shut against you, and so you are angry, and so you are not happy. But I want you to know from today henceforth that when doors are being shut against you, when you are being rejected in a relationship, from a friend or a job, I want you to know that that is God Himself rather redirecting you. Now let's see how God looks at rejection. Rejection to God is a bigger picture. God sees rejection in a bigger way. Let's take an instance of you actually driving on a road, and you drove and you got to a point and there is a roadblock, meaning you cannot pass. So what will you do to get to your destination? You need to follow another route to get to your destination. But I want you to know that you will get to your destination through another means, through another route, but your journey is just going to be delayed. That is it. And you are going to be heartbroken. Why? The time at which you are supposed to get to your destination is not that time again, because you have to go back to begin your journey. And that is how God also works. God actually protects us from us being harmed. God protects us from delay and even heartbreak. And that is why He redirects us. But I want you to know that when God redirects you, this does not mean that God is rejecting you. But I want you to know that it is because God really has a better package for you that is in line with your purpose. And so where you are is not the right place. So it's making you to go back to where He wants you to follow. That is how God works. God sees a big picture of rejection, and not the way we see it as being being rejected. Now, let us take real life examples so that we can really understand what we are really talking about. And before we go further, I want you to write it in the comment section. What city are you really watching this video from so that I can send you my love because I really care. Now, let's go to the practical example of real life. Let's talk about rejection from job. For example, when you apply for a job and you are expecting a yes from an answer, only for you to be called and the company or the organization is telling you that they cannot employ you. It feels bad because you have your qualification and you know you really have all it takes for you to get this job, but you were being rejected for reasons best known to them, and this brings pain and sadness to you, right? That is what we are talking about. Or maybe you are in this job and suddenly you are served with a letter that your services are no longer needed in this company or organization. At that point, you are going to feel this great pain in you because you have been rejected from this job that you put in your best, or from this job that you love so much. Now, let us look at a second example of a relationship. Maybe you are in this relationship and you've given your years, you've given your time, you've given your energy and everything to make sure that this relationship works. But at the end of the day, what happens? The partner you are with don't really care about you, and they just wake up one day and they tell you that they don't want to be in this relationship with you anymore. And this is heartbreaking and it's going to bring pain to your life. Why? Because you have dedicated your time and years and all your resources into this relationship, thinking it will lead to something meaningful. But what you get as a return, you got a rejection, and so you are going to really feel a great pain and loss, isn't it? It is that bad. Now, let us talk about the third example. Let's take it from the Bible. This is a story I love so much. So let's use this one. The story of Joseph. Joseph in the Bible was also rejected by his own blood, his brothers. They rejected him, and that is why they sold him out into slavery. But what happened? From where he was in the prison, God brought him out and he served the public. He became a prominent person. So rejection does not mean that you do not have value. You can see it in the life of Joseph, that his brothers rejected him does not really mean that he was worthless, but rather God really used them to redirect Joseph to where his destiny can be fulfilled. That is rejection. Now, rejection at that very moment, it happens in your life. You are actually going to feel like you are a total failure. You will tell yourself, I am failed. But then, I want you to know that rejection, in the way God really looks at it, the bigger picture of rejection to God is protection and preparation. God does not see rejection the way we see it. To us, rejection means we are worthless, we don't have value. Rejection really means to us that we are failures or we are failed. But God sees rejection in his bigger picture. because it is rather protection and a way of preparing you for the bigger glory ahead of you. That is about rejection and how God really sees it. So I want you to know that the next time that you are really faced with rejection again in your life, either from your relationship, a friend, or a job, I want you to know that rejection does not mean that you really need to question yourself. You really need to start asking yourself, why me? It's not a time for why me. When you are being rejected, I want you to know that this is not the time for you to start asking yourself and be crying, why me? Why is this thing happening to me? Why me always? It is not a time of why me, but rather it is a time that you really need to ask God two critical questions. Number one, ask God, God, what are you protecting me from? Ask God, He's protecting you, but ask Him, what is He protecting you from? And the second question is, God, where are you redirecting me to? And if this video really add value to your life and that have made you to now see rejection in a different angle, I want you to subscribe to Simplicity in Peace channel for more encouragement like this. Remember, God is not rejecting you, but rather God is using that to redirect your life. I am Dora Bob. If you've not given this video a like, please give this video a like. Share it with others, and I will see you in my next video.